All right, so going to be doing another comic review, and this is from my good friend Chris. Thank you as always, brother. Today we're going to be talking about Sabretooth, The Dead Don't Talk. This was a book that Chris sent to me. I always enjoy a good Sabretooth miniseries. They're always shockingly good. Like, they're not deep thinking or anything, but they are, like, fun and entertaining. And that's kind of what it is. The other thing is, too, is that this comic is written by Frank Terreri. Frank Terreri, he has been in the industry for, like, ever. He's literally been a comic journeyman, so to speak. For anyone new here, you'd probably know his work best because the last time I talked about Frank Terreri as a writer was he's currently doing the Godzilla Here Be Dragons trilogy. He's currently, I think, finishing up Godzilla Here There Be Aliens, which I'll be reading in trade near future when that comes out. But I have really enjoyed the Here Be Dragons series, and a lot of Frank Terreri's work is stuff that I usually enjoy. Let me be clear. Frank Terreri as a writer you're not going to get anything deep. You're not going to get anything like major or anything of like deep meaning or something of that degree. Like, you're not going to get anything of like super you're not the Tom King. He is not. And I don't mean that as an insult. I really do not mean that as an insult. But what you are going to get with a Frank Terreri comic is a wonderful little fun story that it's not going to really matter in the grand scheme of things, like continuity wise, but it is going to be fun. Like, it is going to be a fun book. And also, I just remembered he will be writing the Captain America Aliens crossover. So, if that gives you any indication of what we're dealing with here, then there you go. So, Sabretooth, The Dead Don't Talk. What is this comic about? Like, what is the story behind this comic? Well, this is in continuity. Yeah, it's pretty much continuity, but kind of shaky continuity when we get to I'll get to that in a minute. But for those who are unaware of what's going on with Sabretooth right now, he's dead. Like, he's dead again. At the end of Ben Percy's Wolverine run, Wolverine killed killed Victor Creed once again, and he's now dead and buried. So it's been a few months after that event, the fall of Krakoa, and Wolverine has come to a little bar just to drink, and he meets an old man who's a constant patron of the bar, and that's when he notices a picture on the wall that is Victor Creed, and the old man goes, "Oh, you mean Mad Dog Murphy?" And Logan's like, what are you talking about? Like, who's Mad Dog Murphy? So this old man tells the story of Mad Dog Murphy, a.k.a. Sabretooth. This comic is set in 1909, and basically it follows like Sabretooth, who was working with Mr. Sinister in the bowels of Ravencroft, basically torturing a Wolverine who's gone insane. It does actually tie in with a part of Jason Aaron's run, which I do appreciate, but that's neither here nor there. What happens is that after encountering a ancestor of Wilson Fisk, Sabretooth and Fisk break out of Ravencroft, and the two of them start building a criminal empire in 5 Points, New York. Now, a little thing I should mention that I don't really think I've mentioned before in most of my time here on YouTube. One of my favorite points in history that I always like to go to, because it's not a fun time, but it is an interesting time, is the time of 5 Points, New York. Probably because one of my favorite movies is Gangs of New York. I really enjoy that film, and anytime you do anything with, like, if you've ever seen the show Copper, then that's another show. That one, no one talks about that show. That was a really good series, but I'm getting off topic. So yeah, I like anything to do with like 5 Points, New York. So yeah, we get Sabretooth in 5 Points, and it has and since this is the Marvel Universe, it gets a Marvel Universe flair, and I think even like Frank Terreri was like, no one's gonna freaking care about this, so he throws in that the Yancey Street Gang was here, You have not just like the Dead Rabbits and the Bowery Boys, and the Pug Uglies, which were actual gangs in New York. Like that wasn't from a movie. That was literally that those were actual gangs. But you had the Yancey Street Gang, you had the Sons of New Amsterdam, and you had some other gangs, because this is the Marvel Universe. You had the Franken Gang, which are a bunch of Frankenstein monsters. You have the Street Sorcerers Supreme, which are all magic users. You have the Shockers. And you have the Night Flyers, which are a bunch of vampires. I would read a whole ongoing series about that. Like, I would literally have Terreri write a whole series focusing on, like, a Marvel version of Gangs of New York. I would totally do that. So, yeah. So, Sabretooth and Fisk are building a criminal empire, which leads to them encountering other foes. Sabretooth goes head-to-head with a new being called the Crocodilian, who is a crocodile man. Yeah, Sabretooth's big villain in here isn't Wolverine or some other mutant or, a mutant who's also really long-lived. Nah, it's a crocodile man who's blessed by Sobek. This is the comic you're reading. You also have a the ancestor of Ivan Vanko, the Crimson Dynamo, who builds a steampunk Crimson Dynamo suit. And a woman from Kunlun who can shoot fire and is Sabretooth's love interest in here. This comic, if anything I said didn't interest you at all, stop watching this review, because this comic just does not care. If you think that's stupid, it's like, fine, we'll just keep going on without you. The comic isn't deep. It's not a major series. It's not like anything groundbreaking, but it is fun and actually shockingly violent. I'm surprised that this didn't get a red band, because in the first issue, Sabretooth just decapitates one guy right out the gate. I will say, though, the comic, this new love interest that Sabretooth gets, Dragonfire, they bond really quickly, and then she dies, and Sabretooth feels sad about it. But I'm like, I don't feel Victor Creed would be sad about someone dying. He's kind of a psychopath. I mean, I'm pretty sure they'd try to kill each other again in the near future. But other than that, this comic is fun. It's just gangs of New York with superpowers. I know I've been saying that the whole time, but that's what this is, and it's so much fun. It knows what it is, doesn't pretend to be anything else, and is here for a good time with a story from Sabretooth's past that it's not going to matter in the long run, but yeah. Plus, he's fighting a crocodile man. Come on, guys. Guys, give this book a chance. It's nothing too deep, it's nothing serious, but if you do enjoy Sabretooth and want to see a fun version, a part of the Marvel Universe that doesn't really get talked about, like the early 1900s, here you go. So yeah, Chris, know you're watching this. Thank you as always, brother, for this book and the others. And yeah, if you have read this book, comment below, let me know what you guys thought of it. Other than that, hope you all enjoyed this. I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.